Good morning. How are you guys?
Morning.
Good morning. I'm excited about your subject today. I'll let David take over, but I'm actually just really excited about what we've been talking about before we went live here.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
So while we're waiting for people to jump on, David and I are trying a new format here, and we're going to utilize Facebook as well to live stream. And we would love for those of you that are watching this later, because we haven't opened up the invites to the page yet, because we wanted to test this first. For those of you that watch this on the Facebook site afterwards, we would love to hear your feedback on what you think of that new format. A lot of you are still on the Zoom link, which is our traditional way of sharing this with you. So Dave and I would just love to hear if you love one more than the other. It's always good to hear feedback.
Oh, we love feedback. Shawna, before we jump in, I saw last night, I think you posted on Instagram that you had like 33 boxes of Thin Mints. Yeah. What are you going to do with all of them?
So I'm taking it to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's salon to give to their stylists. So they're expired, or else I would just give them away. But we've had them in a closet for 2 years, and I opened a box and I had to taste test them. I mean, I hate that for me, but and they were still very, very good. There's nothing wrong with them. So I gave a box to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and said, hey, if you're good with this, I can bring a whole bunch to your salon tomorrow. And so I'm going to drop off a whole bunch to their stylists today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So smart. Well, you had popcorn, and what else did you have in there?
I had popcorn and candies and like juice plus gummies and like everything. So we're like dispersing, and like we don't like stuff. So we're like every couple of months we start purging, and plus we move every year and a half or so. So it like makes it easier when we move. And I just don't like stuff. It makes me feel very anxious. And so if we're not using it, I'm like, get rid of it. I don't care. We don't sell anything. We just give it away. And I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So this closet was just full of stuff.
That's funny. Oh, man. All right. Well, it's right on the money. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'll do a quick introduction of Shawna. So she was born and raised in North Texas. She's a second generation realtor. She first went to the University of North Texas and had a career as a successful CFO before pivoting back into real estate. She's licensed in 2 markets and performs at the top 1% of the market. So Shawna really knows what she's talking about, so we should all really pay attention to her today and learn from her. How I became connected to Shawna, and when I was talking to her earlier about this, it made me sound a little bit creepy, so I apologize, Shawna. But 5 years ago, she did a challenge with Tom Ferry to set 100 appointments. What was the time frame on that, Shawna?
So it was the end of August to the end of the year. So
okay. It was I remember it being short, but I couldn't remember what it was. And when we were in that room, I was like, there's no way this lady is going to set 100 appointments. And I kind of was like, eh. And
that's why I did it. It's just people like you.
People just like me, right?
Yeah.
So then she was like posting in the Facebook page, like, okay, this is my progress. This is my progress. This is my progress. And I was like, oh, holy moly, she's actually going to get this done. And she did. And she told me that it totally changed her business. So I think that that's super awesome. And then the last thing before I hand it off to her, whenever we have guest spots on Good Life, we have a questionnaire that goes out, just kind of what they're going to talk about, any information we need. And then we have a fun icebreaker question of, if you were going to be on an island for 15 days, what non-electronic item would you bring? And so far, we've had people say books, puzzles, potato chips, toilet paper, water purifier. But Shawna said she would bring her husband. She's the first one that has said that she would bring her spouse. So it's funny to me that everybody else
days, like
it's just funny that everybody else wanted a break from their spouse. And you were all in on your husband.
No, he's amazing.
Awesome. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to you. Thank you so much for being here. We're so excited.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I hope that I'll be able to bring some value. I was telling David before we got on the call that I do a lot of masterminds. I'm on masterminds learning from other agents at least 3 or 4 times a week, anytime I can. If I'm sitting at my computer working or something, I'm always on masterminds because I'm always pulling little nuggets from everybody. Because we're not reinventing the wheel here. It's just taking what other people have done and been successful and implementing it in your business and just being consistent with it. And so that's kind of how I got into doing what I do. So he went a little bit over how I started. So when I was a CFO of a company at the age of 34, and I didn't like the top. I didn't like the view up there, and I didn't like how I was treated. And so I had my real estate license, was doing it part-time for 3 years while running a company at the same time. And I was accidentally successful as a part-time agent. And I say that in quotes because, you know, a lot of agents, especially this year, have not transacted very much. And I was transacting at least, you know, 12 to 14 transactions for 3 years each as a part-time agent, just kind of on accident by doing open houses and stuff. And so when I went into real estate full time, I went to my first Tom Ferry Summit, and he challenged me to a 100 listing appointment challenge from the end of August to the end of the year. And I had to check in with them every day, like, hey, I'm on appointment 1 of 100, 2 of 100. And I actually went on 101 listing appointments. And I would say I could do a whole webinar on that. In fact, I think I probably will at some point, but it was life-changing, and it changed my business forever. And so some of the stuff that I learned kind of pivoted me to where I am now in my business. So I think my slides are showing, so I'm just going to go and start going through them. So this is about me, but David already went over this. So I am a second generation realtor. And so when I first got into real estate, I did open houses. So, and I want to preface this by saying I've never paid for any business. So I'm going into I just celebrated my 5th year as a licensed agent full-time. And I don't pay for any leads, and I have what they call a SEAL team. So it's just myself and support staff. And I have a part-time agent that works with me in Arkansas, where I'm also licensed. And last year I did 108 transactions personally with that. And so I will say, you don't have to have huge teams if you don't want to. I know a lot of people are like, it's big and sexy, but it's not for everybody. And I've tried it, and I lost my butt last year trying to build a team. And so I just went back to basics and what was working for me. And so when I started with open houses. I do a lot of Facebook Lives. Even now, I still do Facebook Lives. And I worked with expireds. That's kind of how I got through the 100 listing appointment challenge. But what I did was I made sure every time I did something, I documented it. So even now, if you go on my social media, you'll see that I walk people through like a day in the life. On Saturday, we went like 300 miles. I had like, I don't know, 5 or 6 appointments that day. And it was from like 8:30 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. And I documented it as I was going, because you are your content. And I noticed when I started doing that, I got a lot more interaction from, you know, my friends and sellers. I get a lot of leads. I get a lot of deals from my social media, and I don't put any ad spend or anything behind it. But open houses, I like those because even if you don't have your own listing, you can do open houses. And that's what I did. I didn't have a listing at the time. And I would just go to people who had listings in neighborhoods I wanted to sell in and areas I wanted to sell in. And more importantly, in the price point I wanted to be in. At this point, when I first started, I didn't feel confident doing ones on higher end homes. But now since then, I focus a lot on like 800,000 and up. And our price point here in the North Dallas area is about 450. So it's definitely luxury. And those houses I found are kind of easier to sell than the lower price points, to be honest. And the sellers tend to be a lot easier to deal with. So it's just a mindset thing. But when I did the open houses, I wanted to make sure it was like an event. So when people came in, I always had like good music, and I'd always greet them at the door. And I had giveaways, you know, like you could, if you sign in or you fill out a feedback form, which we have now, I actually hand it to them on a clipboard and say, you know, thank you so much for coming to our open house today. If you could just leave this feedback form on your way out, I would greatly appreciate it. And I will tell you, I get way more information that way than I do anything else. And I got business because some people have won like the $50 Visa gift card, or, you know, whatever it is that we were offering. And in the summer, you know, in Texas, it's hotter than Hades. In fact, I think today it's gonna be like 107. We actually will have a food truck or like an ice cream truck or a Kona ice truck. And the funny story about Kona Ice is we did it on a house that we had listed here in the Metroplex. And then I saw them again. And the client that we were selling that house for was moving out of state to Arkansas, and told them about where they were moving. And the next time I saw them, I said, hey, we hired you for, you know, our last open house, which was here. And they said, yeah. And because of that guy, the guy you were selling the house for, which happened to be my dad, we learned about Mena, Arkansas. And they said, now we want to buy there. And I said, oh, well, I sell there too. And they said, we need someone to help us. So now I've picked up the owners of Kona Ice as buyers for my second market. So I'm very much into networking, and we'll get into that in a sec. But if you can help people and connect people, like, your business will explode. The Facebook Lives I do, and there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. When you're doing a Facebook Live, like when somebody comes on and they comment, make sure you recognize them. Like, hey, David, thanks so much for coming on. Hey, I saw your kid just got, you know, this award. Congratulations. Like, make that way people know that you are following their life. And it also doesn't hurt the algorithm to have that either. But, and then expireds, I can do a whole thing on that, but expireds really, really catapulted my business to where it is today. I don't so much work expireds now, but I am known as like sell it right the second time type of agent. And so I do get a lot of listings because agents don't sell the house, and then the sellers hear about me, and then I end up listing it and selling it. So it's been very, very lucrative for me. So now how it's going, now that I've built my business and I've moved forward, and I'm always leveling up in my business, is now I get so much business from my sphere of influence. I get it from Facebook, Instagram Reels, TikTok, Google, and then I live and die by networking. So there's a lot of networking groups out there. Like there's, I was part of Master Networks. And here's something you need to think about when you're doing your networking. If you are doing networking, is there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. If you're going there and you are giving people your business card and just showing up one time, giving people your business card, just know that business card's going in the trash. I get them at conferences all the time. And I can tell you those business cards never even make it back. Like, I mean, I just don't throw it. And I've seen it where people will just go by when people are up and they just put their business card down in their spot. And I come back and I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. They don't have a picture on there or nothing. And it's like, I mean, it's going in the trash. So just know that you're not doing anything by that. If you're going to do networking, so I started a networking group. So I was part of Master Networks. I was part of 2 or 3 different ones. And if you start looking at time as money, because it is like everything you do should have an ROI. I started noticing that I was part of 3 different networking groups, but they were pretty much all the same people with the exception of a couple. And I wasn't getting any business from these people. So I was like, what am I doing this for? Just to say I'm going to networking groups, like I'm not getting anything for this. So a couple of us decided to get together and start our own networking group because we didn't really like the direction that the other ones were going in. And we invited some of the top people from those groups that we were a part of to help us start the one that we have. So in November of last year was our first meeting, and we have 4 board members. And now we have close to 40 vendors in that group. And it's every week people show up. And in fact, a lot of people are leaving the other networking groups that they're having to pay a lot of money for to come be a part of our group. And because of the value that they're getting in it, because we ask for a lot of feedback. So like we just sent feedback out on SurveyMonkey, and we got a bunch of feedback, and we said, hey, what can we be doing better? What do you like about the group? Would you recommend somebody to this group? Those kinds of things. And we got a lot of great feedback. And so for that, it's once a week. So I actually just did a Zoom on this. Somebody wanted me to talk on it, so I did. And so if anybody wants the slides on that and all the information, I did it all on Zoom. It's recorded. If you just email me to my email address, which I put on this slide, it's Shawna@performrealty.com. Just put in there, hey, please send me the information on the networking Zoom. I'm more than happy to send that over to you. And I broke down exactly how we did it. But it's my best ROI. So now I go to one networking group, although I'm starting one in Arkansas as well, as just being part of the community. Is I found that people want to do business with you and they're drawn to like the law of reciprocity. So on one of my slides, you're going to see where it says you have to earn the right to ask for business. And what I mean by that is if you're going to be in networking groups or just anything in general, if you give without the expectation that you're going to receive, people's natural desire is to help people who help them, right? So if you help a business get connected with somebody, and I do it as little as like, I have a client moving here from out of state, and he's looking for a job. They're coming here for his wife's job. He needs a job. And I said, hey, if you want to send me over your resume, like I work with, 40 plus vendors that are in this group, I can actually send your resume out and see if anybody has any openings that meet your qualifications. And he was like, seriously, you would do that? And I said, yeah, absolutely, I would. And so he sent me his resume and I sent it out to all my vendors. So it's just about trying to connect people. And here's the thing is there may or may not be anything that comes from it, but it's the thought that counts. So, so to speak. But if people see that you're trying to do things for them, like they're going to want to do things for you, and they're going to want to give you business because you support them, whether it be an individual or, another small business in the area. So on the networking groups, I actually am starting in Arkansas. What I thought was interesting. So if you're moving to a new market, so we call it level up. If you move to a new market, I highly suggest even if you're not in a new market, if specifically if you're in a new market, it's a great way for you to get in. But we're doing that in Arkansas, and I went to all these vendors in this small town that I sell in, Mena, Arkansas specifically, and no one is doing anything like this in their community. And everybody is like, when is this going to start? We're so excited, and it's exclusivity. So every person has one seat. So we have one photographer, one HVAC company, one pest control company, so on and so forth. There's commitments they have to come into, like they have to be there so many days out of the year. They can't skip a bunch, and they have to pass referrals because ultimately that's what it's about. But I will say 2 weeks ago in Level Up, we passed 61 referrals in 1 week in that group. And one of them, well, a couple of them were for me. And so one of my best, actually my highest referral I've ever gotten came from this group. I got a $7 million investor who is selling a winery in California and needs to park about $7 million from his 1031 exchange here in the Dallas area. And I got that from one of the people in my group, and which is huge because again, our average price point is $450. And so that's, somebody's entire year plus some if they can get those closed. And it came from this group, and it came because I gave them business as well. And they felt that they wanted to reciprocate that business to me. And then I have another deal that came from that one that is, she's one of the small businesses in there. Her and her husband want to get into investing. And I met with them last week, and they said, hey, we were working with this other agent, but they don't help us as much as you do. Like, we want to give you the opportunity, and they want to buy 10 homes in the next 2 years. And they're giving me the opportunity to do that with them, again, from my networking group. So it really does work if you do it correctly. But again, if you want any information on how to start a networking group or how to do it correctly, just email me and I'll send you over everything I have. Instagram Reels right now are blowing up. I don't know if anybody recognizes that, but I'm always seeing and I don't do any paid, and I don't have anybody who does my social media. I do all my own social media. And I got an Instagram Reel that I did right now. The green screen with your social on Reels is killing it. So I did one on the $100,000 homestead exemption change that's happening in the state of Texas. And right now, as of this morning, it's at 750,000 views and counting. And I got 2,500 new followers. So I went from like 1,800 followers to I'm over 4,000 followers now from that one video. So I would say if you really want to get into your community, you need to know what's going on in your community. And so usually what I do is if I'm scrolling, we all have our phone in our hands. We're all scrolling, looking at stuff. I will just screenshot an article that I found or something, a business coming here or something, and I will put it on my green screen. And then I always tag the location of where I'm at. I'm in Argyle, Texas, so I always tag Argyle, but I always put, hashtag DFW, hashtag Dallas, all of the big ones that have millions of, hashtags. And I get a couple thousand views on a bad video. I'll get 2,000 views on a bad video. And it's good because people recognize that you are kind of like the mayor of the community, so to speak. And so that way, like, you're letting them know what's going on. And here's the other thing is, in Texas, we have a lot of influx of people coming in from California and Houston. Those are the two top feeder markets. And so a lot of my friends are in those areas. And so their clients, they'll see it, they'll comment. And so then their friends will see it. And then those become potential clients. And you're giving them all the information, because here's the thing is, if somebody's moving here from out of state, like, they have no idea what's going on in your area. You should be the one to be giving them the news and letting them know what's going on in the housing market, what's going on, new build communities, what are the pros and cons. Like, if you're showing property and it's in a new build community, get there a little early, go to the model home, do a little video, edit on CapCut. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing is, nobody cares if it's this big edited production. Like, I do all my own stuff. Most of the time it's just live, not a big deal. And just tag where you are and just keep doing it consistently and watch your growth. And here's the thing is, I don't need 1 million followers. And I think a lot of times people don't wrap their head around that, is they want like everything to go viral. But here's the thing is, I don't care if it goes viral, because I can have a video that has 100 views and I can get 2 clients from it. You don't have to have 1 million followers to get business. Is it nice? Yeah, but 1 million people are not going to transact with you. So I would rather have low view count with a high transact volume versus the opposite, if that makes sense. So I always tell people, if you put something on your social and it doesn't get a lot of views, don't delete it. Leave it on there and just keep doing it. Because as you start getting more followers, people will go back and see your old videos, and then those counts will get higher. But that's not the point. The point is, you want to get business from this social media stuff that you're putting. And I just have really, really good success with TikTok. In fact, with TikTok and Instagram Reels. So I did put one out on TikTok. about how I bought property in Arkansas with no money out of pocket and how we did it over and over again. And that one went viral. And I had, I think like 700 people comment. And I think there's a couple hundred people in there that said, hey, we really want to learn how to do this. Can we, show us how we can do this. We want to invest and do this as well. And I didn't do one thing with it. And so I will say that sometimes it's a curse, because you'll get so much of a response that it's overwhelming. And if you don't have a system in place to be able to handle that, I would say do better than me and have a system in place to be able to follow up with those leads to get that business. And I'm still going to go back to those people and say, hey, I'm so sorry. Obviously I dropped the ball. I'm just going to be honest, and see if they are still interested in investing or buying, because a lot of them probably are, and I can get some business from it. So, and again, it wasn't I didn't pay to have it put out on social media. It just was organic, which is even better.
Can I ask you a quick question before you go on?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
When you do a reel, do you have like a structure you follow, like a hook and then into the offering, or is it just kind of like whatever's there?
So I do everything off the top of my head, which is probably not the best thing to do, but it's very organic, because I'll even mess up when I say stuff. So I used to start my videos on TikTok and it would have the hook first. And then once I said the hook, then I'd say, I'm Shawn Martinez. I run a top team here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, as well as licensed in Arkansas. And then I get into the video. And I found that it doesn't really matter, but I did find that it matters what you label your videos. Like, you need to have some sort of compelling hook on the video if you want people to click on it. Like, one of the first videos I ever put on YouTube was Rachel Hollis and her husband got a divorce. So they were getting a divorce. And so I put Rachel Hollis and is getting divorced, and then I did a video. It was my podcast actually. And I put it on there, and a lot of people were like, oh, this is false advertising because you didn't really talk about them. They were like a point of the conversation, but they weren't the conversation. And I'm okay with that. Whether I get good feedback or bad feedback, any comments or any interaction is good, whether it be good or bad, or, positive or negative coming from people, depending on what they're saying. If they're going to be like, they're going to say inappropriate things, I'm going to delete their comment and stuff, but the other ones I leave on there. So no, I do not, I don't really focus on that too much. I know some people do, but I haven't seen a difference in my videos and watch count. The only thing I saw a difference in was when I added the hashtags. If you put a trending sound, even if you turn it all the way down, and then also if you, make sure people know where you're at, and make sure that you have a really good hook going into what your video is. And if you have trouble trying to find what a good hook would be, go to ChatGPT. We live in the world of ChatGPT, people. You should never question what you need to be doing. Just go on there and say, hey, I'm doing a video on this. Give me 5 different topics or hooks for a YouTube video with SEO search words. And it'll give you, 5 different ones. You can choose it. It doesn't have to be complicated, and just choose one, post it, and forget it.
Cool. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
Is that it?
For me now, yeah.
Okay. I love when people interact and ask questions. So please feel free to do so. And I'm an open book. So anything you want to know, just let me, I don't keep anything to the chest. I'm all about helping other people. So if you have any questions, just go ahead. So one of the things that we kind of started doing by accident, and I was talking to David and Heather about this before we actually went live on this, is my brother-in-law and sister-in-law own a very, very reputable salon here in the area. And they're, entrepreneurs, we're entrepreneurs. So we eat dinner and stuff a lot together, and we're always talking about business. And I just said nonchalantly one day, we should do something with your salon, like, offer like a mom's day out, or, they can come get their hair shampooed and get their hair like, fixed up, and they can go do date night with their husband, and we can have mimosas or whatever. And what we ended up doing was back to school haircuts, because I think it's important that your clients, and we sell a lot to families, because if you follow me on social, like, I'm all about my family. And so we sell a lot to families. And so this is a great event, and this will be our 3rd year we're going to do it. And I will say we don't do as many events. Like, I know some agents are like, we do one every quarter, and I would love that, but it's just me, and that just becomes a lot. And so I just don't. I should do more events. I would love to do 2 a year at least, but right now we're doing 1 here, and we do 1 in Arkansas. So we are technically doing 2, but we rent out the salon. So here's what we do. We rent out the salon for a day that they're closed. So they're closed on Sundays. We always do it on Sunday, and we do it the Sunday before school starts. So this year school starts on August 10th. And so we're doing it that Sunday, which I believe is August the 6th. And we rent out the salon and I get all my vendors. So it doesn't cost us very much money, but the ROI on it is ridiculous. And I'll tell you why. So we rent out the salon. They have 14 stylists. They tell us what the time slots are. So this year we're going to have 42 slots. We do 4 hours. We do 10 to 2. We do 4 hours and we're going to get 42 haircuts in. And what we do is we get with our vendors and we say, this is what we want to do. What would you like to contribute? Because I'm always giving a lot of business to my vendors. I'm very loyal. So I have one title company, one inspector. I have, so these people are like, hey, what do you need? I'll be happy to provide it. So we do like $25 Target gift cards. So when the parents are leaving with their kids, we're giving them Target gift cards for each one of their kids. So in case they have like a last minute school shopping they need to do or something, they're getting some help with that. We also do like branded cookies and we do like little charcuterie, little cups with a local company. We change it up every year, but this is some of the things that we do. And we have swag there. So we have like the drawstring backpacks with our logo and stuff on it. And, t-shirts and koozies and any swag that we have left over from the rest of the year, we pretty much just throw on the table and like let everybody take it. We also do like a food truck. So we have a food truck that comes there and they like this year we're doing barbecue mac and cheese. Like, so, we want it to be kid friendly. Last year we did like hot dogs and things like that. And the parents they're so thankful. They're like, this is one thing that you got us to take off our list of getting our kids' hair, because that's what they do right before they go to school. You get your hair, you get your back to school supplies, those kinds of things. And it kind of helps them knock a lot of those things off. But here's why it's so amazing. So we have a photographer that will come and photograph the whole event because we obviously want to have like pictures to put on our social media. But what's great about it is parents all take pictures of their kids and they all take pictures with us and our logos all around. And so they're taking pictures and then they'll post it on their social media and they tag us. And all they do is say, we went to this amazing event put on by our realtor, Shawn Martinez. And I can't tell you how many, if you have 40 something people coming to an event and they're all taking pictures and tagging you, that's the best thing that you can get for your time and your money. And like I said, it doesn't cost us very much. We rent out the salon, our vendors pay for everything else. Last year, it cost us $1,300 and we always get business from it. And that was just because that's what it cost us to rent out the salon for the day. It's just a great event. And so if you are thinking about doing something that's outside of what everybody else does, this is a great one that I would highly recommend that you get with. And those hairstylists, they get business from this. So like a lot of my clients go to this salon and it's not cheap. And they take their kids there and their wives go there and they get their hair done. So they get business from it as well. So that's the reason why they don't charge us a whole lot for the whole day, is because they also get business from it. But this is by far our best event that we've ever done. And we're about to do our 3rd year on that. Anybody have any questions on that one before?
I don't have anything. Heather, do you have anything?
I don't. Actually, just one question, and I know this is going to be specific to everybody's relationship and your market, but did you share or are you open to sharing what it costs for you to rent out the salon for the day?
Yeah. So last year we rented out, it was $1,300. This year it's a little bit more because they have more stylists. So I think we're paying $1,500 for the salon. And then all of our vendors pick up the tab for everything else. So usually what I do is I get with my vendors, and to be honest, I could probably get somebody to pay for the salon too. But I also understand that right now is a really challenging time for people. So I don't want to put a lot of extra expenses on people. Like we can eat up some of that as well. But I go to my vendors and I say, hey, this is what we want to do. And are you willing to contribute anything? And they'll either give me gift cards or they'll Venmo me money, or they'll give me an Amazon gift card and I can get everything that I need, or they'll bring the Target gift card. So they take care of everything else outside of us running the salon. And so it doesn't cost very much at all. The food truck, I think, is going to cost us maybe $400 this year. So one of my vendors will pick that up. Somebody will pay for the Target gift cards. Somebody will pay for the cookies that are getting done, those kinds of things. And everybody comes and supports the event as well. So that's great. That's great too, but it doesn't cost very much. I would say the whole event as a whole is probably under $3,000.
Amazing. And then I do have a follow-up question now.
Yeah.
Photographer. So all of this, I love this. And I love that for some folks that are maybe price conscious on events. I love that you're sharing that this is really approachable for anybody because you can lean on your relationships to help.
Yeah. because no one told me that. And so the first event we ever did was we rented out this huge patio at the local AAA baseball team that we have here. And it's on a night in the summer where they have fireworks. So it was also a fireworks show, but it was all you could eat, all you could drink. And we paid for everything out of pocket. And then I started talking to other people like at Tom Ferry and things like that. And they were talking about doing events and how they got their vendors to pay for it. And I'm like, what? Like, tell me about this. And then I was like, yeah, they're right. Like, you're giving your business to these people. They should be supporting you, because ultimately, if you get more business, they get more business too. And so then ever since then, we've never picked up the tab for something for the entire event. Like we always go to our vendors and say, can you support us and how can you? And we've always had great participation from our vendors because I'm so loyal and they get all my business.
That's amazing. Now, question for you with the photographer, because I love this idea and I love that you made this so shareable, right? Over social and parents can share. This is a very specific question. I'm just curious. When you receive the professional photography back, is that another touch point where you get to follow up with the clients? Like you're like, hey, thanks for coming. Here's some photos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what we do is we actually will share the link to all the photos to our clients. So, because they're going to be there taking pictures for a couple of hours. We don't make them there for 4 hours, but they're usually there for like 2 or 3, and they take pictures of everybody while their kids' hairs are getting done or when they're walking out the door with us. And I'll just send the link to all of our clients that came and say, hey, there might be some photos in here that you might want to like to have and keep for yourself. And they do. And then again, they'll post it again on social media. Like it's like the gift that just keeps giving. And what I thought was interesting is, so this year we did it a little bit different. We opened it to our VIP clients only. So for clients who refer us business on a regular basis, and we get business from on a regular basis, they're our VIP clients. And we opened it up to them first. And over half of the haircuts slots are gone from our VIP clients. But that was awesome to be able to go to our clients and say, hey, we're only opening it to our VIP clients right now. And then they're like, oh, I'm a VIP client. Like they love that, And I thought it was very interesting is that we had several people. Oh. It's not mine. I don't know. Somebody's looking at cars.
I don't know where it's coming from.
I don't know. So, but what was great is everyone said, like a lot of people said, oh, we were wondering when this was going to happen again. We've been holding off getting our kids haircuts, and my kids were asking when this event's going to happen. And so the kids like it too, because, they get to come, and especially girls, they're getting to be like a princess for the day. So it's a great event. And to be honest, I really think I want to do another event and do it for moms and have them come and get shampooed and their hair styled and those kinds of things. And that would be for our VIP clients as well. And I think that we're going to start that event next year and maybe do it like right before Mother's Day. So you can always build on it, but this is our 3rd year to do this. And by far my favorite event that we've done. So when I went to Arkansas, I went there. I have a lot of family that live there. So that's my tie there. And we started buying property there as short-term rentals because it's an up and coming short-term rental market. So if you're interested in that, like I can share information with you about that. But when I went to this town, it's like 5,000 people. It's kind of a small town. And everybody knows each other. And there's like 50 agents. And so here in my market, I don't know about everybody else, but like Easter egg events and all of that are just overly saturated here. Doing events for school is just overly saturated. You just become one more person, doing something for the school. And I love working with teachers and I love doing things for the school. I don't do it for business, so to speak, but we do get a lot of business from it. But so one of the first things I did when I moved into this other market as a second market is I went to the school and I said, hey, I'm a new real estate company coming to town, and I'm very big on like wanting to give back to the community and do things for the greater good. Is anybody supporting the schools here? And they said, no, nobody is doing anything for the schools here. And I was like, this is crazy, because in Texas, like you can't even get into the schools here because it's just overly saturated. And so I said, what would benefit you if we were to do something for the school? Would it be, supporting a certain program? Is it, just giving money to the school, letting you do it? Is it giving scholarships to seniors? Like, what is it that we can do to support you? And so it was great because I got in contact with the school. So I was able to, introduce myself there and start that communication and open that relationship. But I went there asking what I could do to help them. I didn't ask them for anything in return. And now we have a lot of business from the teachers at the school. So it's kind of interesting. But so one of the things that we did was the first event that we did this past year. So I've been in there 12 months. And I will tell you, I am known as the luxury listing agent now in that area. So their average price point's like 250 and under. We have $800,000 listing, $1 million listing, $2 million listing. Like we have all the luxury listings because everybody knows who we are. They know that we came from Dallas, Fort Worth, and that's a feeder market for them. So they don't even hire the local agents anymore. They just call us and say, I want to list my house. If anybody's going to market it, it's going to be you, because we do professional photography and a lot of things that they don't do there. So one of the things we wanted to do was we wanted to do an event that we could give back to the school. So I got with my vendors and I said, because all my vendors went and got licensed in Arkansas to do my business up there. So my title company opened up a hub there just for me. My insurance rep is here in Texas, got licensed in Arkansas just for me. Same thing on my lender. My roofer even said, hey, I'll go up there and do roofs for you too. And so I think that just goes to say like about my relationships with them. And so I said, I want to do something for the school. So we actually put on a first annual Easter egg event. We will definitely be doing it again. So we were completely blown away by the response that we got. So you have to know your market, right? I keep saying that, but it's important. So in this market, people like the newspaper and they like reading things in the newspaper. So we had an ad put in the newspaper about the Easter egg extravaganza. We went around to all the local businesses, asked if we could post it in their windows and things like that, or we could post it there. They said, yes, no problem. And we went to a lot of the local businesses there and asked if anybody wanted to contribute anything or be a sponsor. And we had people step up and say, yes, we will. And so what we ended up doing was between our vendors here and our vendors there, we ended up getting a lot of items that we could raffle off, and we charged $1 a raffle, or you could get, or you could do $3 for 5 raffle tickets. And we did that because we wanted all the money to go to the school. So we ended up having over 200 people come to this event. This is our first event we ever did in Mena. No one else has ever done it. We rented out the local park, and it was an amazing event. I will say we learned so much from this event. Like we had over 1,000 eggs. That wasn't enough. We should have had more. So next year we'll be doing it even better. And having more age groups was the feedback that we got. We had 2 different age groups, and they wish that we had some for the like really little, some for like the toddlers, and then for like the, between toddler and teenager. So we'll probably have like 4 different age groups next time, all going at the same time, because it's just chaos if you don't. But the money we raised from this, we actually so the local newspaper came out and took photos. We didn't hire them to do it. They just came out and did it. So it was all over their social media and it was in their paper, which was awesome. So we got a lot of free advertising. And then we went, after we got all the funds, we went and we presented a big check to the school, and the newspaper came back out and took a photo of that. And we got to pose with a bunch of the kids with the check. And it was just, it was our first event. It was great, but people are hearing about what we're doing. And the one thing I keep hearing from everybody is, we are so glad you're here doing these things because no one else is doing anything for the community. And so that's what I think is super important. If I could get anything that would kind of like resonate with you or be a light bulb moment or a note for you to take, would be pour into people in your community. Ask them what their goals are. Ask them what they do. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He was a lead that came in through my online and about selling a house. And I reached out to him and he said, well, it's probably going to be a little while because I need to sell a business. And I said, okay, well, what kind of business do you need to sell? I said, because I have a list of over 400 investors that are always looking to invest, and he gave me the information. And so I'm helping. And he's like, oh, I really appreciate you. You would do that for me. And I said, yeah, absolutely. Because if he can sell his business, I can sell his house. So, it's like a win-win for everybody. And so I do that all the time. Like I was born with the gift of gab, if you can't tell, and it's come in very handy for me. And so I am just always like thinking in my mind, I need to connect this person with this person. I need to connect this person with this person. And I do it because, one, I love to help people, but I do it also because it comes around and they're going to come back and they're going to help you in your business if you help them. And that's the best advertising you can get. You can't pay for that type of advertising. And so we started doing that with the businesses here, and it's just been amazing. Like the feedback that we get and the amount of business I get from this small community is just ridiculous. And I will say that the agents there don't like me too much because I'm this big city agent that came in and is doing these things. But here's my thought on that is that we all have the same 24 hours in the day. It's what we do with it. And it's either they can step up or step aside, because I'm coming to do this because I felt there was a need in this community to have this type of customer service that's not being offered. And either they get on board or they're just going to have to move out of the way because it's happening one way or another. And they can either join us or they can hate us. I mean, that's up to them. I sleep just fine at night.
I
This is a great
actually
event.
in my notes, how do you deal with the local agents who probably hate you? So it's funny.
Yeah,
that
they do. They hate
you
me.
answer that.
Yeah.
Are you using that as an opportunity to grow I know you have a SEAL team, but are you trying to add some of those agents to the team on that side of the business?
So that's a great question. I actually have no desire to make my team any bigger, but what I will say, what allows me to, a great thing about being at Real, this is not a plug, but just the truth, is that you can have a bunch of different ways that you want to build your business. And for me, I've learned that I love mentoring agents, but I hate having the day-to-day responsibility. And so my thing is if somebody wants mentorship from me, I will give it to them. If they come over to Real, I will open my business up to them, because if they're successful, I'm successful, and vice versa. And it's a win-win for everybody. And so that's more what I focus on, is how can I reach the most amount of people and help them so they don't become one of the statistics of the 75,000 people that have exited the industry just since the beginning of the year. If they're going to be in this business, I want to teach them how to do it right, so that when we're on the other side of a transaction with them, I'm not pulling my hair out and, things like that. So that's how I don't plan to build my team, but I do want to get a lot of people, as many people as possible, that want to be a part of what we're building there, but just not on the team aspect. And something that we're trying to start doing there is start doing happy hours and start doing like get-togethers and stuff. Because again, nobody does it. Because I also think like they hate me just by association. They just know me as this Dallas, Texas agent. They don't really understand that actually my family lives there, and that's pretty much our second home. And we do things for the community. So we're there for a lot of good reasons. And I think people just by association, and the fact that they see my sign everywhere now, that they're just upset because they lost out on that opportunity. But I only had that opportunity because they weren't doing what they needed to do to keep the business.
Right.
So yeah, you're going to have haters. And I will say this, that if you don't have haters, you're not doing something right.
Such a good mindset.
Yeah.
On that second market note, how are you handling, are your clients in Dallas nervous that you're spending too much time in the second market, or how does that play out?
No. So I usually try to go up to Arkansas like twice a month, and I try to go like Thursday through Sunday. So it doesn't really hurt my business here, because my business is taken care of here. If I go to Arkansas, I do have a showing assistant that will show for me. Listings I can do from anywhere. No, in fact, it's been very beneficial for me, because I get referrals now from agents in my market here in Dallas for Mina. And so they're like, hey, I just closed their house here. They need to buy a place. Like, I saw you work that market. Like, can you help them? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And so I get a lot of business that way. And so it really hasn't hurt me. It's helped me, if anything else.
Cool.
I think as long as you take care of your clients, they don't care, and if anything, I've inspired a lot of people. Like I have clients that have come to me and said, hey, I want to learn how to buy short-term rentals like you've done, because I've been so transparent about it on social, and I've helped them. And now they're on their second or third. And that makes me feel great, because they felt like they couldn't do it. But because of what I showed them on social media and talked about how we did it and did the numbers and told them how you could do it with little money out of pocket, like I inspired them to build their wealth through real estate. And I think that's a huge compliment. That's the best thing I could ever hear from a client, is that I inspired them to do something. So yeah, we haven't had any bad feedback from our clients about being in both places. So on Sphere, so this is pretty much what I do for my Sphere. So I know like some people, like they do pop buys all the time. We try to do that. And with the SEAL team that I have, and just and everything I do now is about profitability. And so we were doing pop buys, and we were doing, making sure we touched every single one of our past clients at least once a year with a pop buy. So we took our whole list of past clients and divided it up into quarters. And so first quarter, our VIP clients would get the pop buys first. And then, our B clients, C clients, D clients, so on and so forth. What we found was clients liked it, but we weren't getting anything for it. So it's like, I'm always tracking and measuring what we're spending our money on and what we're doing and where our best use of time is. And to be honest, that wasn't my best use of time, because Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, you could be 3 hours from one house to the other and still be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And so it becomes like a week-long thing that you're out there, that you have to go out there to be able to drop off these pop buys. And I was like, I'm not getting anything for that. So why don't I do something different? So now what we do is like, we'll send out gift cards to all of our past clients' kids on their birthdays and those kinds of things. So we just send out like this questionnaire that has, now we do it on the front side as part of our buyer onboarding process, but or seller onboarding process. But we find out all that information, like what are your kids' birthdays, your anniversaries, those kinds of things. And now we spend our money doing those kinds of things. And if I see one of my clients post their kid is selling something, I'm buying it. Like we were talking about this. I bought 2 huge boxes of Thin Mint cookies, and I had planned on doing it with like a pop buy, you know, I'm supporting my client's child, and it's for a good cause, and they're great and they're delicious cookies. And then I'm going to repurpose them and use them as pop buys for our other clients. So I'm kind of like, you know, killing 2 birds with 1 stone kind of thing. And, but then we never got around to doing it. And so my husband was cleaning out a closet the other day, and there's these 2 huge boxes of Thin Mint cookies. And so I was buying all this stuff and supporting my clients, but we weren't doing anything with it. And it's just sitting in our house. And so I'm like, we probably need to rethink that. So now we do more things like, you know, these events, and we just do more. I want to do more like, I want to start like a dinner club and things like that for our VIP clients. And if anybody talks about wanting to be a VIP client, I'll let them know how you become a VIP client is you support us, you refer us business, and then you become a VIP client. And so doing those really cool events, again, just getting people to talk about it, I think will help us. It just continues to help us grow our business. So that's kind of it on the social, like sphere of influence and community. But I mean, I just, so I wanted to show you guys kind of what like where I am right now in my business. So an individual agent, I have actually 28 active listings. I have 2 more that came on yesterday. So I have 28 active listings. I have 8 pending right now and 7 incoming listings, and I'll close at least 100 transactions this year. And it's all from just doing the things I just talked about, which wasn't a lot. It's just when you do it well. Make sure make sure you're asking for the business. Like a lot of people don't realize that they can refer you business. Like I know that's kind of a shocker. Like we all think, oh, it should be easy, but no, like you need to be putting it in their mind. Like, hey, if you know anybody who needs my help, like please send them to me. And I get texts all the time from my clients saying, hey, I just sent your information to so-and-so. They're going to reach out to you. And it's just amazing. Like all I have to do now is answer my phone. I don't have to get on my phone and prospect 2 hours a day for expireds because I don't have any business. Like now I have enough trouble keeping up with the business that I have. And one of my biggest lead sources, which we didn't talk about, is agent to agent referrals. Like 60% of my business is agent to agent referrals. Yeah, there's a referral fee attached to that, but I just have to answer my phone. I don't have to pay for a lead system source. I don't have to, you know, like that's amazing. And they're not interviewing multiple agents because they were already referred by somebody else. You already have your cheerleader. And I mean, I had 3 appointments over the weekend and they were agent to agent referrals, and I signed every single one of them. Like, but that's not where my business started. But it became that way because, like David said, he saw me on the 100 listing appointment challenge. I was putting it all on social media, and I got a huge following from that. And then it just kind of went from there. And so if you're not getting agent to agent referral business, like definitely contact me. Let's talk and let's discuss a way that you can get more agent to agent referrals, because you should be getting tons of those with the amount of people that are moving from one market to another right now. But because of my agent to agent referrals and because of my networking group and things like that, these are the things that I've been blessed to get. Is, you know, there's 160,000 agents in Texas. It just came out. I'm ranked number 40, which is crazy. I like sat at my computer, like reading it over and over. I couldn't believe it. And then what's really funny is, yes, I'm a team, but I'm really an individual agent. And I compete with the top 25 teams at Real, which is crazy because I'm an individual agent. And those are all like teams with like 5 or more agents. And we're a small team, so at least 5 agents. I've gotten the best of Dallas the last 2 years. I'm in the top 1% of agents across the US. And the Real Producers I was actually featured in their magazine, which was really cool. And I've been on their Real Producers top 500 every year since I've been a full-time agent, which I think says a lot as well, especially since all my business is organic. Like I don't pay for Zillow. I don't pay for any of that stuff. Speaking of Zillow, I do get a lot of stuff from my Zillow and my Google. If you're not keeping up on your Google page, oh my goodness, you should be going on there at least once a day, posting something, geotagging it, making sure people know. I get tons of business off social media, but specifically from Google as well. So it does sound like a lot that you have to keep up on, and it kind of is, but track and measure what's working for you and then adjust as you need to, as you see the things that are working and not working. But you don't know what's working and not working if you're not trying it on all the channels and all the platforms. So it's been very good for me. And this is just, you know, you have to earn the right to ask for business. So this is when we did our pop buys, and this is knowing with the community. And then my good friend, Sandy Payne, a lot of people know her. She does the Hustle 100 group. So if you're not part of that group, you should. It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, and if you want any information, you want to follow me, I did this QR code for you. But if you want to email me at Shawna@performrealty.com, I will be more than happy to share any slides or anything I have on the networking group that I do. I try to keep it short because, you know, an hour goes by fast, but that's pretty much in a nutshell what I do in my business every day. And it's just been very, very successful for me. I just think we as agents specifically like to overcomplicate things, and it's not complicated. It's just doing it and doing it consistently and doing what works and getting rid of the stuff that doesn't.
Yeah, I loved all of this. Can I ask you a couple questions on your tracking and measuring?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So first, let me back up. So when you were talking on like posting on Google, being focused on the social platforms, what's one piece of advice you'd give to an agent who's kind of doing a little bit on everything? Should they focus on one platform and get that moving, or how could they start and then have a system in place to track and measure to make sure it's profitable?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say right now, platforms are always changing of what's trending and what's not trending and those kinds of things. So one, always be checking to see what's going. But right now, TikTok is where it's at. And Instagram, I'm putting a lot more stuff into Instagram, and then I just have everything automatically feed to my Facebook. And that seems to be working really well for me. I get way more views on my videos on Instagram Reels than I do on my Instagram, on my Facebook page. And then we're also going through and repurposing all of our videos and putting them on YouTube. So here's something you can do is just do the video, post it on one channel, whichever one you want, whichever is the easiest. For me, it's Instagram, posting automatically to Facebook. Get somebody on Fiverr, pay them a little bit of money. Somebody else gave a piece of advice, and I love this, is send them a video you want edited to 3 different editors on Fiverr with different price points, because you'll have some that will charge $10 a video, 20, and then 50 or whatever. And so try them in each one of those price points and see which one gives you the best product. See how quick their turnaround time is, how good they are with editing and those kinds of things. And then once you get that person, just start sending, you should be able to get a discount if you're giving them a good amount of business, and then send it to them and have them take all your videos off of Facebook that you've done and repurpose it and put it on, edit it and have them put it on YouTube and Instagram and those things. Then you can repurpose it across all channels. You don't have to worry about it. You only post it once. And then they're doing everything else. You can have your virtual assistant do the same thing. That's what I would recommend doing. But the biggest thing I will say, because I did a panel about a month or so ago with some 100 other agents in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It was a sold out event. It was great. And one of the first things I told people was, you have to get over how you look and how you sound on video. And videos statistically do better when you're in them. So if you're in front of a house, have your camera flipped around where you're talking and then do a video walkthrough on the house. It just does better. And here's the thing is, you look how you look and you sound how you sound. And if you don't like it, I'm not kidding, just post it and walk away. Don't think about it. Because if you overanalyze, you're gonna have to redo it over and over and over again. When I do videos, I'll do it 1 take or 2 takes. Even if I'm doing it with a professional videographer on one of our listings, I do it in like 1 or 2 takes, because I'm like, first of all, I don't have time to sit here and do it over and over. And for me, done is better than perfect.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I had one more question, and then I'll let Heather talk because I see her wheels turning. This is probably from your CFO brain, but going back to the pop buys and being focused on profitability, do you have a specific profit margin you're trying to hit in the business, or how do you know if something is giving you the ROI that makes you happy?
Yes. So we track everything on just like an Excel spreadsheet. Like I used to do CTE because it was pretty easy, but it was like way overcomplicated. There were so many things we weren't using. And it was like, I'm always thinking of ways to use things that are free instead of things you have to pay for. So like I use Trello, which is free. I use Canva. I do pay $12 per Canva a month, and it's worth every penny. So I make sure that when we spend money on something, one, I'll go back and I ask other agents or ask my business coach like about it first before I invest in it. Because we spent a lot of money the first year I went into business. I got in a pretty good severance package at my CFO job, and thank God, because that took us through the whole first year, and we spent a lot of money making mistakes. So don't go after the shiny objects. Make sure that like you get feedback and you find out from people like what their experience and stuff was. It'll save you a lot of time and most importantly, a lot of money. But so last year was my best year on paper, and it was my least profitable year. So I actually did more transactions than I ever did. I made over $1 million in GCI, and I had nothing to show for it because I gave up a lot of money to my team, and I made a lot of mistakes. And so I don't have an exact percent, but I will say it scares me when I hear people, and I was on a webinar yesterday that they said the same thing, that if you have a big team and you're making 20 to 30% profit, that's really good. And that scares the crap out of me, because if I look at how much money I need to make every year, to be able to have the lifestyle I want, put money away for retirement, do investments, those kinds of things. My team would have to sell a crap ton of homes to make 30% for that number to hit. So for me, I got a CPA, I got a really good CPA. So if you need one, let me know, but he gives me a monthly report, and it's sad and great at the same time because it's nice and organized and we see where we're spending our money. But I also see like, I'm having to work twice as hard this year to get the same amount of transactions as last year. And for everyone I get into contract, yesterday I got one into contract and then one terminated. It's like, oh, like if everybody could just get on the same page and we could just close these deals, it'd be great. But I found that I wasn't paying myself a salary, so I wasn't taking that in consideration of my profitability. But the year before I got a CPA, we were at like 80% profitability. And yeah, that was the year before I had my team. And then last year, our profitability was probably 20 or 30%, which was really bad. And then, but this year we're paying ourselves a salary. Me and my husband, he's also licensed and does like the back office stuff. I would like to be around 60 to 65% profitability at the end of the year after our salaries are paid.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that number. A lot of agents aren't as transparent on that number, and we get so many different like ideas of what we should be. But personally, I'm on the SEAL team train. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I would say if you're going to do that, be really careful about having the salary. So last year we got rid of over 100,000 in salaries, and that was like a media person and my full-time showing assistant. And now I just changed the way I pay people. And then we have one salaried employee who's worth every penny. I pay her double what we pay her. I hope she's not on this call, but she knows that because I tell her all the time. And then we have one full-time virtual assistant that we pay $800 a month for, and she works 40 hours a week. And I mean, like, you can't get that anywhere else.
No. Heather and I are big on the VA.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're always looking. My husband and I have a meeting every single day, and once a week he sends me a CFO email, and it has how much money is in our bank account, in all of our accounts, how much debt do we have right now, what are our credit card balances. He even tells me how many points we have on our credit cards. And I like to see that because then it tells me like what we have in the pipeline. So it'll, like I'll see it. Oh, I have, 4 closings this week. That's 50,000 in commission or whatever it is. And so then it like helps my anxiety, because this is not a thing you want to put your head in the sand and just hope that everything goes away. I mean, like, you can't change or make adjustments if you can't acknowledge, and you can't acknowledge if you're not tracking and looking at this stuff on, a regular basis.
Right. Okay. Those are all my questions. Heather, it's your turn since we're almost out of time. Sorry.
Sure. I think it's a great time to wrap up. So Shawna, obviously there's so many things that you do well. And I think that there's going to be different camps of agents that are watching this webinar, right? Some are going to say, wow, she threw a lot of ideas at us. And this one fits really well with the next level of where we want to really move forward. And then there's some that might be maybe newer agents or don't have as many processes in place. And they're like, that was a lot of stuff. I don't know how to start. Yeah. So let's focus on the latter group and the newer agents. And maybe they're sitting here and thinking, oh my gosh, as soon as we're finished with this webinar, I can't sleep for the next 365 days until I get this all done. So I would love to hear, what would your advice be for them?
If I had to go back over and start my business over, I would be doing, if I'm starting from scratch, if I'm a brand new agent, I would be highly focused on open houses right now, because it doesn't cost you any money per se. It's just your time, but doing it correctly. And I will tell you, I have an open house checklist that, because you don't just want to like put a sign in the yard, put in the MLS, just like a listing, and just hope people are going to come. You're going to get out of it with the effort you put into it. And so for us, we start the week or two before. Like, we have a mega open house coming up, and we started 3 weeks ago, inviting people and things like that, and figuring out what we're going to do. But like, I have a full open house checklist I'd be happy to share with you. But if I were you and I didn't have any business, I'd be doing an open house on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of every single weekend. And I would be doing it only on houses that hit the market that week. So, or if they've been on the market 1 week, or if they did a huge price reduction and it's in the neighborhood you want to be in, or if it's in your own neighborhood and you want to learn to do things with your neighborhood. Oh, here's something that I did, and you can do this. It doesn't cost you any money. It doesn't matter if you're in an HOA community like I am or whatever. During COVID, I figured this out. They stopped doing all of the events in our neighborhood. And so I was like, man, we really need to do something for the community. And so I actually got with Mi Cocina, which is a local Tex-Mex Mexican restaurant here. They're a chain, but they have a food truck. And I put a link out on social media on our page for our community and had people sign up. So I didn't pay anything. All I paid was for my food and my drinks. And they had margaritas to go and it was awesome. And we had such a huge turnout from that. So we were the ones that hired the truck. And if we didn't get enough participation, we would just cancel the event. But now everyone's like, hey, Shawna, when are you going to do another event? Like they treat me like I'm the lifestyle director of our neighborhood. But that's another way for you to get your name out. And it doesn't cost you any money whatsoever, just organizing different events in your community. But I would be doing open houses every single weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because buyers that are coming out there, yeah, you have some lose, but a lot of times you'll get people who are looking right now. And I will tell you right now, with the way the market is, the buyers are keeping us afloat, not the listings, because listings are taking longer to sell. It costs more money. You have to do photos, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's great if you're a listing agent, but if you need business right now, that's what I would be doing. And I would be doing video tours on houses every single day. I'd be going to different communities, all the stuff that's free, but you get the most response from. I would be doing those things. And that's what I would be doing if I had to start my business all over today.
Thank you. Great advice. And Shawna mentioned, for those of you that, if you do want to move forward in the open house aspect, Shawna, we'll go ahead and when we send out this recording to our database, we'll just share that checklist with them as well as part of that email.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. And you can change it however you want. Like I ripped it from somebody else and duplicated it and changed it. You can do the same, but it'll give you like at least a guideline to start with, so you're not starting from scratch.
Amazing. You're such a wealth of knowledge. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. This was amazing.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully I gave you guys some little nuggets and I didn't overwhelm people too much. But yeah, you can totally do it. And this is the thing is everybody runs their businesses differently and everybody can be successful doing different things. So what works for me may not work for you, but hopefully I gave you like an idea or two that you can go and implement in your business and tweak it and, you know, make it your own. And it works great for you as well.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. You're networking.
Yeah, you too. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.